Hello everyone and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. Today we are going to be doing a bunch of odds and ends in the game. What I mean by that is there are a bunch of races that appeared throughout the earlier menu books that we never actually completed because we already own the prize cars for them. Example number 1, the Sunday Cup race at Northern Isle Speedway. The prize car for this was the Mazda Demio, but that was the first car we bought, and we never actually competed in this race. Therefore, so yeah, we're going right back to the start and racing in the Sunday Cup once again. 10 corners, 4.5 kilometers, and that's the entire race, not just a single lap around this circuit. It's a 900-meter circuit, very short, and yeah, that is what is on the cards for the first race of the video. So we're driving the Honda S800. To be honest, I wasn't expecting too much from this car, but I want to give more different cars a try, see what they are all capable of, and turns out this one is not half bad. So yeah, I was very impressed by this little car, and in the Sunday Cup sort of tier of events, it's actually pretty decent. You can see we are making our way through the field steadily, and we've in the first few corners, that being also the first few laps, made our way up into the top 5. So we'll see if we can continue to push through. We've got another cluster of cars in front of us now, and we're going to make the move down the inside and move ourselves all the way up into second position, and we'll be taking the lead very shortly. We're going to go to the outside as we will try to swing around another fastest lap of the race as we make the move and get through into the lead. And all we have to do now is hold it. This car's very nice, very stable, and no evidence of sliding or anything too concerning from this car. It's just doing all the things that we need it to do, and it's really making the race absolutely fly by. Very short race, and we just one corner to go, and we've flown through the field in this one, and it's going to be a relatively easy race victory in the Honda S800. Relatively old car, but a nice one nonetheless. It's first place for us at the Sunday Cup race at the Northern Isle Speedway, and that is one box ticked, so we can move on to the next one. Alrighty, so we get underway for the next race, and this time we're doing the Sunday Cup 500 at Brands Hatch, and a little bit deep into the first corner, made a bit of contact, but nonetheless we get through, move ourselves up into 7th position through turn 1 as we work our way around the telephone. And to explain what I just said, I refer to the first half of the lap as the telephone because it uses the Brands Hatch Indy circuit, or part of the Indy layout, and the Indy layout looks like a telephone, and the back half of the circuit is the box, just for reference. That's how I remember the two halves of the track in my head. We have to go around the telephone and the box, but anyway, that is insight into the weird way my mind remembers racing circuits. But we will now work our way through the 3 right-handers that make up the box, and then head back onto the telephone. As I've been talking about all that, we've made our way up into 4th position. Also worth mentioning, we're driving the BMW M3 now from 2007, the same car we used for Barry Clinton's car in the Bathurst 6-hour video recently, and we've had enough there. But this was recorded long before that. This video, funnily enough, was recorded way back in March, not long after the game came out, and yeah, it's kind of crazy that I'm still trying to work through all of these. There was a short time I wasn't making Gran Turismo videos because they weren't being as popular, and the F1 game came out. But anyway, I've shifted focus more back onto Gran Turismo because I do really love this game. I've been enjoying it a lot recently, and the Gran Turismo videos have become in general more popular, so yeah, I've shifted focus, and what I should be doing is focusing on the race because we're making mistakes all over the place, and thankfully not going to lose a position thanks to that one. But We're not having a great run of things as we work our way through. We're on the final lap and we're still in 4th position, so we do need to swiftly make our way past the rest of the field in front of us. We can see them all, so it's not too bad. Bit of a shortcut there, and trying to make up for lost time. Not sure that actually really helped us at all, but nonetheless we are closing down the gap to the leading trio of cars. The podium all right in front of us, and a bit of an awkward line on the exit of the left-hander there on the inside curved edge of the telephone, and we continue to push our way up along the first edge of the box, and now we are really closing the gap. Looks like they're holding each other up a little bit here, so we should be able to make the most of that as we go a little bit wide through the first right-hander of the box, and now into the second as they're running now side by side, and a bit of a moment there, and we're going to try and get through down the inside, find a narrowest gap, and we do get through, and we'll make our way up into 2nd position. So 2 corners to go, and we need to get them absolutely perfect if we want to take the race lead before the end. Good run through the left-hander back onto the telephone, and now we need to line this up through the final corner, and we will get the move done down the inside. So that's easy enough for us, and that is the race lead, and it's going to be the race of victory as we finish the lap, and we're going to come in 1st position for the Sunday Cup 500, and we really only just got there with a few mistakes in that one, but we did. We've got the gold trophy, and we can move on to the next one once again, but yeah, that was a little trickier than the previous one at Northern Isle Speedway, but the job is done, and we can move on to the next one. Alrighty, so we're getting underway for the 3rd race then. It's the American Clubman Cup 700 at Laguna Seca, and we're driving the Chevy Camaro ZR1 1LE, ZL1 1LE package. This car has a long and confusing name, but anyway, it'd be so much easier if they just called it a Chevy Camaro that goes a bit faster. That would make it considerably easier. Porsche as well, they should start doing that. They have very complicated names, but I digress. We need to get a move on in this one. 12 car field in this race, so a few more cars to overtake than usual, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem for us because we have a Chevy Camaro that goes a bit faster. Anyway, we have moved ourselves up into the top 10 and trying to close the gap to 9th position. We'll carry good speed through here. We don't really have anywhere to go, so we slam it straight into the back of them. We will make the move around the outside though and up into 9th place. So a decent start for us as we head over the crest and now go crashing down through the corkscrew, absolutely cutting that corner, but we get through and now try and force our way up and taking these positions, barging our way through, and we'll come out the other side in 6th position after having a bit of a moment there, but it's a few more spots gained and making further progress in this race up to P6 at the moment as we are now looking at the top 5 right in front of us. Are we close enough to go for the move into the first corner, sizing up the position? Actually, that's not even a question. We'll go blazing past long before the braking zone. And to be fair though, that old Corvette not doing half bad, and given us from the early 1960s, still running quite high in the field, so perhaps it has been a little modified to keep it up to date. But anyway, we wind our way through the opening sector and gaining on the next group of cars. We're up into 5th position now, as I mentioned, so let's catch up to the field ahead. As we continue through the race, it's actually at lap 4 by the time we catch up to the 3rd and 4th placed cars. So going for a late apex here and trying to carry some momentum on the exit, running into the back of the Viper as we go for the lunge down the inside and get 2 for the price of 1 into the right hander, and we're up into 3rd position. Moving on to the final lap of the race then, we're still in 3rd position, closing up to 2nd place, and we'll go for the move down the inside. And goodness me, that is certainly a noise. But anyway, we are closing up to the race leader. In fact, we give him a bump through the slight left-hander. Let's see if we can carry the momentum along the straight. We do that, and with the straight line advantage of this car, there was no doubt, and we get the move done into the corkscrew, and we're up into the lead on the final lap of the race. All we need to do is navigate the final couple of corners, and it should be all easy from there. So into the right-hander, no issues there, and just one corner to go between us and a race victory. So here we go, left-hander have the final corner, awkwardly sharp, quite often sharper than I expect it to be, but we get through there nicely on that occasion, and we now head towards the line and cross it in first position to take yet another race victory, and tick another box in Gran Turismo 7 with another race now completed in first position. So that is job done here for the American Club Cup 700 at Laguna Seca. We take the victory. On to the next one once again. Alrighty, so next race we are at Catalonia, racing in Ferraris, and immediately gaining a spot on the run down towards the first corner. That car very slow as we go for another move down the inside. We're driving the Ferrari 308 GTB, and I think we used this same car in the Ferrari events earlier on in the series, and with a few upgrades it is actually pretty decent, so should be a good enough car for us to take victory here. But many cars in this race, 16 of them, and 5 laps to get the job done, so plenty of work to do. Let's see if we can make our way through the field, as we have a whole cluster of cars in front of us now, 3 in close combat here. We get 2 positions on the way into turn 5, and we'll get the 3rd on the exit. And we look to the inside of the slight left-hander here, and we'll get the move done and move ourselves up 1 more spot and into 11th place. We'll move ourselves into the top 10 with a lunge down the inside into the 3rd sector, and find ourselves in our 10th position with the Ferrari F12 Berlinetta in front of us now, and they're going for a bit of a slide through the long right-hander. A big slide. He's still going out wide a little bit, but he manages to save it. We'll get the power down on the exit and make the move down the inside, and run a little bit wide there, and we're actually just going to completely ignore that corner and pretend it doesn't exist. And we did actually sneak a position there. Didn't actually realize that at the time, but anyway, we get bumped a little bit wide as we tried to look to the outside. No space for us there, but we'll get the move done in a straight line, and that is now P6 for us on the opening lap of this one. We soon have our sights set on the top 5, and a little bump there in the braking zone, but we'll make the move nonetheless and move ourselves up into 5th position. 1 lap later, and the fight for 4th begins as we close in, and we'll try to make the move probably to the inside of the right-hander up here, and there's a bit of a braking zone here, so we should be able to get down the inside, missing the apex a bit, but nonetheless we'll make the move and put ourselves up into 4th place. So with the fastest lap of the race, the podium is just around the corner, by which I mean a bit up the road. This is a straight, and we're going to try and make the move into turn 1. We're a long way back, but we'll go for the big lunge, and we'll get it done, move ourselves up into 3rd position with a couple of laps left in this one, and the race leader in sight. Looks like we're going to be able to catch up in time. We just have to make sure we don't make any mistakes as we're rapidly closing up to 2nd place, and we will see if we can make the move. We'll have a look to the outside as we head around at turn 4, and we'll get the move done relatively easily there. Alrighty, so now we move on to the final lap, and we have the race leader in sight, so let's see if we can do anything about them on the run towards turn 4. Bad exit. We had about a million moments through turn 3, and just could not get through there smoothly. Catching up a lot of time into turn 4 though, now we're right behind them, so we're a bad run on the exit again though, another moment, and just not getting good exits versus the race leader. We're going to go for the lunge anyway down the inside, a little bit deep into turn 5 rather, but we'll see if we can make it work. We get a bad exit though, and we lose the 1st place just as quickly as we got it, so unfortunately we need to go for the move once again, and it's not going to be easy because we don't have the same straight line speed as the race leader now, so it's actually quite tricky to go for a big diving overtake, but we'll see what we can do. You're losing quite a lot of time actually now through the middle sector, so we're potentially in trouble here. The race win might not be on the cards. We're heading into the twisty section of the circuit now. This will potentially favour us, but running a bit wide there, not going to help our cause as we head through this long right-hander, and the race leader just seems a little bit out of touch for us at the moment, so we may need to resort to an alternative method of overtaking, and we'll get the move done nice and cleanly there. And that is race lead for us, cheesing it a bit, but I didn't really feel like doing this whole race again. I haven't been particularly enjoying driving this car, but nonetheless we take the race win, albeit cheesing it a bit there, but that is the Gran Turismo way. Sometimes you just have to take shortcuts. Anyway, unfortunately the game needed to do an update, and it didn't actually save that result anyway, so that was a little annoying. But anyway, we did go back and do the race again, and did, after a few attempts, manage to take the victory, and this time it did thankfully save for us, so that is good, and it means we can move on to the next race. Before we get into the next race, a little bit of a side development here. We've been gifted 1,000,000 credits by the developers as compensation for the extended server maintenance. I actually completely forgot this happened. I think there was some miscalculation of prize money in particular currencies. I forget exactly what the details were of what happened, but either way, the end result is we've been gifted 1,000,000 credits, so I'll certainly take that any day of the week. Alrighty, we get underway for the next event, the Japanese 4-wheel drive challenge at 600. We've got the unstoppable GZR, the R32 that we've had so much success in throughout this game, and we are at Kyoto Driving Park, the Yamagiwa layout, also known as the longer of the two components that make up the full circuit. So a bit of contact there as we tried to just send it in to those few corners, but we recover from that, and we will continue to make our way through the field. Up in 6th position now with 2 overtakes there, and there are 10 cars in this race, so not a ton of overtaking to do compared to the previous, but that said, we've only got 2 laps to get the job done, so not a lot of time as we're having a bit of a slide on the exit there, and a very nice variety of corners on this track, which I suppose is the point of a driving park. It's got all different kinds of things to contend with. Tight chicane here, and we get a nice switch through there and make our way up into 5th position. So we've done just over half the work, and we're not quite at the end of the first lap, so things are looking good for us as we turn left now through this long, it's probably a bit tight to be called a sweeping corner, but we navigate that one well nonetheless, and we're gaining a bunch of places here, and we've moved ourselves up onto the podium into 3rd place, and a sneaky little switch through there puts us up into 2nd, but the race leader is a little way up the road yet. We will eventually catch up to the race leader though on the 2nd lap of the race, and we'll go for the move, and we should be able to get through turns a little bit into him there. Sorry about that, mate, but anyway, we get through and take the lead as we head into this little chicane once again. Probably slowed down a little too much there, but nonetheless we've got the move done. We've taken 1st place, and that is where we will stay for the remainder of the race as we come across the line to take victory here at Kyoto Driving Park, Yamagiwa, and that is another race ticked off the list. Next up, we slow things down a little with the Japanese FF Challenger 450, and we go for the move down the inside into turn 1, and we've taken 7th position. 8 cars in this race, a little bit of a small field, but it shouldn't be too much trouble for us. 2 laps of Tsukuba Circuit on the cards. We're in the Honda Integra as we make our way around the outside. That's another spot made. We're up into P6, a little bit deep into the hairpin there, but we will manage to keep it just about on the road. Another position for us down the inside into the right-hander and under the Dunlop sign. That is a job done for us up into P5, so almost halfway through the field. Hopefully we can get this next car by the end of the lap, and that'll be good signs for us in terms of our progress through the race. I always find the low performance cars racing much more fun in a way, and it's a different kind of driving style to the to driving racing cars. This is the sort of stuff I really enjoy Gran Turismo for, is racing these production cars. Basically, it's a much more interesting dynamic. But anyway, we are finding our way through the field relatively quickly, and we will need to keep this up. The race leader has done a bit of a disappearing act. I'm not sure where that's gone, but they're way up the road, so we do need to make sure we have enough time to catch them. There they are, and looks like second and third maybe are closing up a little bit, but we do need to finally make some of these moves because we've only got a few corners left in the race, half a lap to go of a very short circuit, and we are really running out of time. So we're going to try and make the move around the outside on the exit. We do get given the room, and that's one spot made. We'll go around the outside again. We're not being given a lot of space. We're trying to make moves wherever we can, and we're up now into second position, putting the power down towards the final corner in the slipstream. Have we got the straight line speed? It looks like we do. We're going to make a move to the inside of the Honda Civic, and we get the move done along the run to the long sweeping final corner. Very tricky in faster cars this corner, but at this level not too much of a problem, and we'll maintain the lead throughout, and we'll take first place here at the Japanese FF Challenge 450, or whatever this event was called, and that is the job done, and another event cleared for us. Staying in Japan, we spin the cars around 180 degrees and put the driving wheels at the rear for the Japanese FR Challenge 450, and we're driving a Toyota Supra for this one. And I'll be honest, I think this car was probably a little quick for this event, but anyway, we will make our way through the field with relative ease. We're already up a couple of spots and into 6th position, starting 8th of 8 in this race. So once again, a fairly small field of cars in this one, but anyway, up into eventually 4th position. And we've only done a couple of corners, so yeah, we are absolutely flying through the field. A bit of contact with the car ahead there, and that's not exactly ideal, but even so, we will get past and the next and move ourselves up into 2nd position with just the race leader left ahead of us as we close the gap into the next braking zone, and we'll look for an opportunity to get past as early as we can, and we should be able to make that move sooner or later. We find the barriers, but we also find a way through and move ourselves up into the lead of this race. And that is exactly where we will stay as we come across the line to take the race victory here at the Tokyo Expressway for the Japanese FR Challenge 450 in the Toyota Supra. And we take that one with relative ease. So on to the next one. Alrighty, we're underway for the final race of the video. We're at the Dragon Trail Gardens circuit, and we are driving the BMW M3 CSL from 1973, the old one, but it handles it quite nicely with the rear wing on the back. It was a bit of a nightmare before that. But anyway, we are a little bit stuck in traffic at the moment. We're barging our way through though and trying to gain a few places. This is the European FR Challenge 550. So a little bit faster than the previous couple of races that we've been doing. They were 450 or for 450 performance points cars, but anyway, so we're ramping things up slightly for the final video, the final race of the video, and 12 cars in this one, so a slightly bigger field to go with it as we hit the brakes into the hairpin. I know this circuit very well thanks to the circuit experience around here, and that was an interesting time. But anyway, we continue to push on, and we are making steady progress through the field, but we catch a whole cluster of cars here and we'll make the move around the outside, bit of contact, but we will get the move done on the exit curb. A bit shouldn't slow us down too much though in a car like this, and we're okay to continue pushing on, and that's put us all the way up into the top 5. So that's a very nice progress for us so far on the first lap, and we should be able to push on for the podium on lap 2. Not a long race, this one 3 laps, so kind of an intermediate length, I suppose. We've had longer, had shorter in this video, so yeah, we are going to be in a little bit of a rush, I think, to try to get to the front, just to make sure we can get there in time. But at the moment, we're not gaining hugely on the field ahead. We could probably be demonstrating a bit better pace at the moment. We've had a few mistakes in this race so far, but we'll see. Hopefully we can smoothen things out throughout the latter couple of laps. So bit of a moment there through turn 1. Never been too good at these long sweeping corners. It's become apparent in this video with the one at Catalonia as well, that long sweeping right-hander of turn 3. Had a few moments through there as well earlier on in the video, but anyway, we are having a great exit here, and we're going to grab 2 spots on this little short chute between the first little chicane and the hairpin up here, and we've got the race leader now in sight further up the road. But let's focus on second position, because that's what we are trying to take very shortly, missing the apex of the hairpin, and overall just not driving too great at the moment, and it's certainly not because I don't know the circuit. This car is, I mentioned it's nice to drive, but it's a little, I don't know, it can feel a little bit clumsy at times, I suppose. But anyway, it's something I will need to get used to. So we'll have a look now down the inside into the quadruple apex right-hander. There's one apex which we missed very slightly. There's the second apex that we also missed slightly. There's the third apex, and we go a bit wide, and there's the fourth. And yeah, that is a very long right-hander, but now we're on the run towards the final double left-hander. A lot of multiple apex corners around this circuit, especially in the second half of the lap, so that's something to watch out for. But yeah, we need to try and focus our attentions to the race leader, because they are now right in front of us as we head along the main straight to start the final lap. We have 1 lap and 1 chance to take the race lead here, so let's see what we can do as we head up towards the long left-hander. For me, this corner is about just minimizing any time loss from too much sliding and trying to correct the steering. We get through there okay this time, bit of a moment on the exit, but not too bad. And now we can head into the chicane. Let's see if we can get a nice run through here. I'm much better at the stop and start kind of stuff. Big hop over the curbs there. That's going to give us a good run on the exit. And we'll have a look to the left-hand side, but we don't quite have the straight line speed. We don't have the horsepower, so whatever we do, we're going to have to get it done in the corners. That's interesting. So that changes the approach. Let's see how things go as we head into the hairpin. A little bit too far back to do anything here, so we're just trying to focus on a good exit, taking a lot of curb there, trying to minimize the length of a corner that we have to navigate there, and hasn't helped us close up too much as we do cut over the grass a little bit there, bit of contact, and now we'll make the move down the inside, barging our way through and moving ourselves up and into the lead. We need to get through, and we need to actually break away a little bit because at the end of the lap consists of 2 quite long straights, so we need to make sure we can get clear by the time we get to those straights. Not a perfect run through the quadruple apex right-hander, and that could leave us vulnerable to the car behind, but I think we might just be okay as we head now towards the final double apex left-hander to finish off the final lap of the race. And we missed the first apex, and we should be able to bring it back, take the second one, and a bit of a moment there, but we will get through just fine. We've broken away well clear of second place, and this is going to be an easy victory in the end as we come across the line to win the race here at Dragon Trail Gardens at the European FR Challenger 550, and we've done the job here. So that is it. 25,000 credits in the bank for that one. We've hit 1.3 million in total after that race. So not huge prize pools for the races we've been doing today, but nonetheless still very much welcome prize money. And we can now return to, well, we don't go back to the cafe, we've finished all of that, so we can just return home, I guess. So that is going to do it for this one. So I'll say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. It is always very helpful. And other than that, I will see you next time. Goodbye.